Hi guys, this is Harry from Holistic Health Harry and Alkalise to Realise Talk Show. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Mellisha. Prana is your nice nickname, and you've been on my Facebook for a while and coming up and supporting my posts and talking about all the therapies you're doing. And I was very curious to get to your story, and we found out through Messenger it's a very powerful story too. So with that being said, Mellisha, would you like to start at the beginning and how you come to this place in the health community that you're in now? How did you come to this place?
Well, it all started with the diseases, first of all, because obviously you don't heal from anything if you don't get sick. I started getting sick in November 2015 after a dentist cleaning. How do you say that? My English is not so...
They clean, is it like a cavity? You had a cavity in your teeth?
Well, just an annual
checkup.
Yeah,
annual checkup.
And they did the radio photographs. And 2 days after, I started to have blisters all over my gums.
Okay.
So I went back to the dentist saying that I probably caught something from that cleaning appointment. And he said, yeah, you probably caught a bacteria, so take antibiotics. So I took them for 2 weeks and nothing changed. It was always there and coming back. And every week I would have blisters and it was bleeding and it was bubbles and they would pop. And then I would have a play. I'm going to speak French also. Is that okay?
Sometimes? A little bit, yeah. You can say a few words, yeah.
So after weeks of wondering what was happening, he sent me to a specialist of the mouth, and she did a biopsy and figured that it was autoimmune disease, which my antibodies were attacking my proteins from my mucous membrane. So it was not only my gums that it would attack, but eventually it would attack my nose, intestines, vagina, and my eyes, and I would get blind. So it was like, okay, so why do I have this? And it's very serious disease. I can get blind. And she says, yeah, and this is a very rare disease which happens only to very, very old people, 60, 70 years old. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm 35.
You're half that age.
I'm going to be blind. So it was kind of a shock. Then these other symptoms came up during, right after these blisters. I started to have feeling that, what was my first symptoms? Feeling tired, loss of concentration, and then...
Depression, maybe? Slight depression?
No, I wasn't feeling depression. I never felt depression at all. I was always a very happy person. But in March of 2016, so I didn't have the diagnosis of my gums yet because it took very long. In March, I started to have a very, very, like, I woke up in the morning and it's starting to turn and I was super dizzy and my head was wobbling on the side like this. I was like, what's happening? Like, it came out of nowhere. So I thought I had this virus that I had caught in 2010, I think, which attacked my vestibule, which it balances, which keeps you walking straight. It's in the brain. You probably know what's the name in English.
I don't actually, but carry on. I don't know.
Anyways, so that virus made me dizzy like that, and I couldn't walk for a whole month. And they never diagnosed it. They just said it's probably that, but they never knew. So when that happened in March 2016, that symptom of, whoa, I'm super dizzy, I thought it was that virus that came back. So I'm like, oh no, why happening now? And Then I went to the hospital and saw many, many doctors, and I started to have this fainting all the time and very weakness all the time. And the doctor said, well, you don't have any symptoms that correspond to what you're trying to tell us, that virus thing. I'm like, well, come on, help me here. So then I started to, that the symptoms were just piling up and piling up, and had nausea. And then I started to have pains and the neuralgic pain in the head and the eyes, and sleeping a lot, like all the day sleeping, having trouble to sleep, insomnia, then having troubled vision. And then I felt like always in this fog all day long, and then having trouble walking, having trouble doing my things in the day, having trouble. I was so weak and having pain in the muscle articulations, and then heart palpitations, and like I had all the symptoms. Like it was.
You sound like you were an old lady, like 90 years old.
Oh, and tinnitus and the sound. I had to put earplugs because just people speaking or moving the dishes would drive me crazy. Then the pain in the ears, and God, I'm probably skipping some symptoms. I had so many. It was just unbelievable. They were just piling up in weeks after week after week after week. And then, so it started in March, the dizziness. And in June, I thought I was going to die. Literally, I thought I was dying. It's like, where can I go after this? It's just death. And I was seeing doctors after doctor, and neurology, and all the things that they were seeing were my primary symptoms with my dizziness, and like I couldn't walk, and I was doing this all the time, like all day long. That was very tiring. And every doctor, everyone, they said, you're all perfect health, because the test they were doing was coming out negative. And I was a scientist, and I was working in the lab, so I know exactly what their tests were, and I knew that how medicine is working today, how the medical system works is we have a test that will specifically find if this disease is there or not. But what they were looking for, well, they didn't have the test for. So all the disease they were looking for, I didn't have. So obviously I was healthy, but I wasn't. They knew I was very sick, and they didn't know what I had. So I was like, why? Why do I have this strange disease that no one knows about?
Well, you're laughing at it about now. I'm sure you weren't laughing at the time.
No, I was starting to be depressed, because I was starting to lose hope, because I was in this shape for 16 months.
16 months. Whoa.
16 months looking for what I had is very, very hard on the morale. It's like, oof, if I never find what I have, will I ever be able to live with this all my life?
Whilst you were looking at that 16 months, did you did you clean up your diet? Did you know some things? Like, did you think in your mind, okay, I can exercise? Was there anything within your power at that time you were doing in a good way? Not really, didn't know anything.
I had no clue what I had to do. Seriously, I had no clue what I had to do. I never thought that it would be the diet. I never thought it would be the exercise, for having been a dancer for 25 years and being pretty much in shape. I didn't think exercise would be the thing. I was at school at that time. I had to leave my master's degree, which was going really great. And that was one of the things that I hated about doctors. They were always saying, so what are you doing right now? Well, I'm doing my master's degree. Oh, that's typical. You're stressed, and that's why you're sick. I'm like, why? You're not a psychologist? First of all, you're a neurologist, or you're a ORL, which is for the ears, nose, and throat. It's like you're doing an assumption that I'm so stressed and that my life is so horrible and I can't manage my stress, that I'm getting sick at that point. That was really hard for me to deal with, but every doctor had that judgment towards me. And so for 16 months I couldn't see, no one ever found, and I didn't know what to do. The only thing, in August, so a couple months after I started really getting sick, in August, I had this intuition that I had to stop eating meat. And I didn't know why. Why would I want to stop eating meat? And then I was seeing a naturopath at that time, and I told her, I'm going to stop eating meat. And she said, oh no, you should never stop eating meat, because you're very weak and you need this proteins and this energy and all your brain nerves that are being attacked right now, because obviously it was really the nervous system that was attacked when I was sick. So she said, you cannot stop eating meat. And my intuition was so strong at that time, I just couldn't listen to my naturopath, even if she was the most comprehensive of all the doctors. So I stopped eating meat. So there's one step towards getting my health back. But I didn't know at that time, but I just followed. That was my only hope for getting a new health. And 16 months later, so happy. I crossed on my road. I went to a conference, which was a conference to design ecologic houses. So, just people around, having some people to talk how to build with good materials and etc. There was a lot of weekends. It was 6 intense 6 weekends, 2 days of the weekends full. And during these weekends, there was so many people that came and gave their knowledge about how to build a house. But there was this period where this weekend they were talking about how to have a how do you say that? Like a healthy house. So healthy materials where you don't have this toxic
building syndrome.
wood and cement and everything. So, and they were talking about electromagnetic waves, fields that you could have in your house that could be dangerous for your health. And there's this guy who said he built his house like a cage de Faraday, which I really don't know what's it called.
Faraday
cage.
Faraday cage, yeah.
So he built his house like a Faraday cage, because his wife is hypersensitive, and I didn't really have this, oh, maybe I'm electrosensitive. But my boyfriend, after the conference, he went to see the guy. He said, my girlfriend is very sick, and do you think she might be hypersensitive? And the guy, he said, well, maybe. I'm gonna check and see if she has the same symptoms. And I met him and I told him like very rapidly all my symptoms, and he's like, yeah, well, there's some symptoms that are similar to my wife's. I'm like, I don't really think that like electromagnetic waves would make me sick. I've been living in Montreal for 15 years. I've been like, come on, why in one day I would turn out super sick? And anyways, so he said, well, don't worry, just try and test it for yourself and you'll know. Just for 2 weeks, leave the city and be EMF free. So I'm like, okay, I'll try that and I'll see. Why not? So I went to my parents. They live up in the forest, campagne.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there and they cut everything, no cell phone, no.
Sweet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they helped me out. And 2 weeks there, I did a lot of walking also in the forest, which really was very healthy for me. And that really helped me out. And I was like, help me, trees, that I was hugging them and
Cool.
help me. And that really, really helped, I think. Um, so after 2 weeks, I was doing better, but I wasn't convinced. I was like, yeah, well, I had this wave during all the 16 months. Every month I would like have this crisis and then I would rise up again a little, but I was always sick. But it was always in a wave monthly. So I was, for these 2 weeks, I was like, maybe it's just my rise, like I have every month, because I wasn't 100% okay, but I was feeling better. So I go back to Montreal. When I get out of the car, that's when I knew I was electro-hypersensitive.
Oh.
It was crazy. The
Literally,
pain,
the moment as soon as you got out of the
everything.
car, as soon as you got out of the car, you just went.
Yeah, because I knew afterwards why would I feel it after the getting out of the car, because the car has this metal shielding all around and it would protect me. So when I got out of the car, I would feel it more. And when I would enter a building, that's even worse because the EMFs are bouncing on the walls. So like in buildings, there's Wi-Fi and there's cell phones, and so it's more concentrated. So when I just got out of the car, I was like, like all the symptoms came back right away. I'm like, oh no, that is impossible.
Oh no and oh yes. Oh no and oh yes at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no and oh yes. Now my world is so different now. Okay, so now I'm electrosensitive.
Yeah.
So I have no more life. Can't go back to school, can't go back to work, can't go back to the city, can't live in the city. My life is, whoa, okay, good. It's a big shock again. So so yeah, I stayed like 4 days in Montreal, and my health dropped like crazy in 4 days, and I was getting so depressed and I wanted to end it all. I called my parents. I said, I'm going back right away. They said, yeah, come right back. And that time, things happened. I think that things happened. They never happened for nothing.
Yep.
So we had signed for a house in the campagne. How do you say campagne?
Boris, in the countryside. The countryside.
Country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had signed to rent a house in the country, and we were moving in 10 weeks after. So I was happy that we weren't staying in the city because I knew I couldn't. So there was only 10 weeks left. So I went to my parents in the country for 10 weeks until we were officially moving here where I live right now. So that's how I knew. But now the thing is, I had no resources. I did not have any medical assistance. No one knew how to cure this disease. No one knew, like, here, they don't know about EMF. It's really electrosensitivity. The doctors really don't want to know, and very close-minded here. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to have to do it by myself. And my parent neighbor, she had books, and she said, well, I'm going to lend you books how to heal yourself. I'm like, well, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Things just happen. So she lends me all these books about how to heal, and that's exactly the day where I discovered the energy. like all the spiritual world and this energy that surrounds us and that's in us. And I'm like, whoa, why haven't I ever heard of this before? And that was another revelation. So I was like, okay, so there's not only the human body and the physical world, there's all this energy that's flowing through me, and that's crazy. Wow. And so that made me go towards my healing process. And slowly, when I moved here 10 weeks later, I still was very, very sensitive. Like my health was rising back up again. But as soon as I saw someone close enough with a cell phone, I would feel the cell phone. I was like, oh, that's crazy that I'm so sensitive.
Yeah.
And if the person would get in my house with the cell phone and they said they closed it, and I said, no, you didn't close it, I feel it. And they would say, oh, sorry.
Whoa. So you could be like a psychic. You could have been the
Yeah,
psychic.
well,
Use your phone on
it was very, yeah, it was really strange, but at the same time very scary, because now I saw everyone as a threat to my life.
Oh yeah, literally they were a threat to your health, for real. That's scary when people can be like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so every time there was someone coming in, like let's say the postman, I would like stress my life and be, oh, he has a cell phone, or you know, anyone. So it wasn't very fun. But eventually I started to just take time here and meditate and try to feel all my energy and do a lot of energy work, and just try to you know, just be familiar with this world, because I never knew it. And so it was a very long process to integrate and to really, you know, meditate and understand it. You know, I never had any classes. I never had anyone teach me what to do. So it was only books and intuition. So that was the first part. Then so I moved here in May 2017. So let's say the first 6 months, it was just arriving here, being like, okay, I can rise up, get my health back, and familiarize with the energy. Then in January 2018, I heard about fasting.
Cool.
So that's when I said, wow, that's amazing. People getting cured with fasting, and my boyfriend was like, wow, that's amazing. So we started both doing intermittent fasting, which was 5 days eating normally and 2 days eating 500 calories.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. 5-2, they call that. I've heard that before. 5-2 diet or something, right? I called 5-2. Yeah, it's got a name to it.
5-2?
5-2.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. 5 days normal, 2 days. Yeah, two.
Yeah, it's the 5-2. That's the one I was doing. Yeah. So I did that one for more than a year.
That must have helped you go up big time. Like you weren't doing.
That was amazing. And then so I started in January doing the fasting with my boyfriend, and in March I decided to go vegan. Everything together. So and during that time I was trying to go to the village, which is a very small village, and just trying to get out of the house without having symptoms. And it was still hard, really. I would feel them right away and I would get sick, and it was really hard on the mind. But I kept hoping that I was gonna get better. But I forgot to say, in 2000, when I moved here, at the beginning, I was so sensitive. Oh yeah, I have to explain that because I'm going back. It's okay. So the best way I have to explain the pain that I have from EMF is that, you see my hand? Yeah. So when you rub on your hand like this for weeks, months, and years, well, eventually you'll have this rash, and then you'll have this, how do you say, play?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you'll
I don't know.
bleed.
I don't know. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll bleed and have this this really awful play.
Rash, or some burn, a burn or something. Yeah, a scar, baby, a scar.
No, NASCAR is
I mean,
healed, right?
I don't know then. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, so it's gonna hurt and it's gonna bleed, and you're gonna go right to the bone
Mm,
if you eventually never stop.
mm,
So that was my feeling for 16 months. I was in pain,
mm,
but it was numb, because
mm,
you get numb after doing this for a very long time.
mm,
But you get used to this rubbing, but it really hurts, but you are used to it.
mm,
So when I went away for 2 weeks, my hand started like, whoa, thank you. Now I can heal.
mm, mm.
So 2 weeks after, when I got to Montreal,
Start
now
it.
the pain is worse. And
Yeah.
now my sensitivity is even worse.
Mm,
So that's how I can explain it. It's
mm,
like you're going back into the wound. That's the word I was looking for, into
mm,
the wound.
wound.
So it's really, really painful.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, I had this very big wound,
Mm.
and the electricity was hurting me. So
Yeah.
I couldn't watch any TV, couldn't do any
What?
computer.
Even electricity, not just EMFs.
Electricity.
Oh, I didn't. I thought it was just EMFs. So it's electromagnetic, complete sensitivity.
Yeah,
Huh.
complete. It was really, electricity was in the symptoms now, because I was so sensitive.
Mm,
So I had to unplug everything, the coffee, the everything was, I was beside a, just anything, the lights were, oh,
mm,
horrible. Anyways,
mm,
so we would close all the breakers in the house, and
mm,
it was, so 1 year later, when I was trying to go to the village, well, already there was a big improvement, because computers and TVs weren't a problem anymore. But I was still very frustrated that I couldn't go to the village.
mm,
But anyways, there was a big improvement still. So I started the fasting and the vegan,
mhm,
and so that was January, the fasting, and in August
mm,
I went to Quebec City with my friends.
mhm,
They said, "Oh, we're going to Quebec City. Do you want to come with us?" I'm like,
mm,
okay, maybe, but if I don't feel good, I'm going back home.
mhm,
They said, yeah, no problem, no stress. Okay. So I'm kind of very stressed out, but I try to, try work out the energy, because I know that can be very bad for my
mm.
symptoms. And there's also the psychosomatic,
It's like, yeah,
which are,
psychosomatic. Yes, yeah.
yes, there was a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was coming in, and I had to work on that also.
Mm,
If I saw someone, I would like, oh,
yeah. Yeah.
and then have symptoms.
Mm,
So I managed that also, so I wouldn't have the psychosomatic symptoms.
mm,
So I went to Quebec City, and then I go out of the car, and I'm like,
mm. Oh dear.
oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
I'm in the city. So
Mm,
I spent the whole day
mm,
having fun with my friends in the city, and having a drink, and taking sun, and wow, I was crying. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
mm,
I can go out. And then that was like 8 months after fasting. So fasting and
yeah.
the vegan uh, diet really, really, really helped. I
Mm,
was like, wow, that's amazing. So then I try to go out all winter after that month, like after August, like the winter after, I try to go out, and
mm,
I saw my symptoms were coming back more strongly.
Mm.
Like, what's going on?
Mm.
There's something that's different. So my fasting is helping, but it's not enough.
Right. Yeah.
And the diet is helping, but it's not enough. So, you have to combine stuff and
Mm.
make it even better. So, um, this 2 months ago, I found out urine therapy.
2 months after the winter. Sorry, when was this you found out about it?
Just 2 months ago.
2 months
So
ago. Oh wow. Okay.
July.
So
So in
recent.
July, yeah, in July, exactly the 17th of July. So we're 17th of September.
No way. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I found out about urine therapy and that I started. And
How did you find out about urine therapy? Who told you about
um, I posted, oh yeah, it was in June. I was feeling great, healthy, everything. And then one morning I wake up and I'm dizzy and I'm balancing and I'm like, oh no, what's happening? I haven't had that for a very long time. And it's all my EMF symptoms that are back and very strong. So I wake up and I'm going crazy. What's going on? What's going on? Where's the Wi-Fi? Because I realized that this symptom of my head was related to Wi-Fi only. So where's the Wi-Fi? So I'm like to my boyfriend, did you forget to close your cell phone? And he rushes down to see, and his cell phone is closed. I'm like, what's opened?
that?
Because we have no Wi-Fi here, obviously. So I go see my laptop, and I see my laptop looks fine, and I open it and I see the Wi-Fi is activated. I'm like, why is my Wi-Fi activated?
Mm.
And I remembered the night before it had an update. And during that update, I knew there was like this problem with my connection, internet and connection, and probably that's exactly when it turned the Wi-Fi on because my
Automatic.
cable came out.
Mm.
And normally, like if I was very, very sensitive, I would have felt it right away, but I didn't feel it during the night.
You're
Like
getting stronger. You're getting stronger.
yeah, I'm getting stronger. So in the evening, I didn't feel it.
Mm.
So I went to bed and I fell asleep with the Wi-Fi on, and this is killing me all the time.
Yeah.
So sleeping in Wi-Fi is the worst thing that,
Yeah. Really stupid to do for
yeah.
anything. Yeah.
So that's why in the morning I was terribly sick. So that morning, close the Wi-Fi, and I have this urge of you have to film yourself and you have to make a video of yourself. I'm like, why not? Okay, let's just do a video of you sick. So I do two little small videos of me showing what are the effects of Wi-Fi on my body. So I show them how I walk and how my head is always going on the side.
Mm.
And then I post it on Facebook. Then this girl, she's EMF. I know everything happens for a reason.
Right. Yeah. True. 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 Yeah.
Then this girl comes to me and she tells me that she has electric hypersensitivity as well, but she managed to direct that uh, energy. She's very spiritual, and she talked about the earth mat, which is a mat where you can ground it in a wall, which grounds you to the ground.
Yeah.
And she said that that's how she manages to live in the city, because I think she lives close to Montreal or in Montreal directly in the city. Anyways, big city. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So I messenger her and we have a live video talk and we exchange, and she talks to me about urine therapy. And I'm like, really, urine therapy?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really open to everything. Seriously, I'm ready to try anything.
Mm.
And I don't feel like I have to do urine therapy to heal myself, because I don't feel sick, and my life actually is great, because if I stay here, I'm perfectly healthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And we're kind of me and my boyfriend are kind of, okay, you're gonna stay home and you're gonna work home and you're gonna take care of the house, take care of the food, and take care of our health, and that's gonna be our life, and I'll go work. So I don't have this need to get out of the house.
Yeah.
So urine therapy wasn't like, oh, I really have to do this because I have to go back in the city and have to work. So when she told me this, I was like, yeah, that's interesting. I want to try.
Yeah. It's always interesting, the beginning, isn't it, that one? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I really think it was, I don't know, it just attracted me right away. And I must
Maybe it's your
admit,
intuition. Your intuition knew there was something to it. I think for all of us to get into it, your intuition knows it might be legit, like it's something to it.
Yeah, my intuition is getting very, very strong the more I meditate and the more I connect to myself and to the earth. My intuition is getting very, very strong. So when I had this urge of doing the video, I knew I had to do it. And when I heard about urine therapy, and my intuition was like, that's a good thing. I said, okay, let's try it.
Yeah.
And then I tried it, and yeah, I must admit it's hard at first, because it stinks. I didn't like it. I couldn't do it at first. I'm like, how are people doing this?
Yeah.
And then I didn't feel good one morning. I just feel like I was getting sick, or I don't know, like it just didn't feel right. So I'm like, this is the day, urine therapy. So that day, I drank my urine like it was natural. I'm like, okay, so my body knows it's good, because when I used to take the pill, for contraceptive pill.
Contraception, yeah.
Yeah. So when I used to take that, I took it for 11 years, which is horrible, and I didn't know at that time what I was doing to my body.
Maybe that didn't help with the electrosensitivity, the downward spiral.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that were, I didn't take care of my body and I didn't know it. Now I know. So yeah, when I was taking the pill, every morning when I would take it, it doesn't taste anything. Even it's a little sweet. My body would literally, I would have this nausea coming up every morning, and I would be like not listening to it at all. It'd be like, come on, take it. And at the end of the 11 years, I was like, my body is literally telling you this is not good. It doesn't want to take the pill. You have this nausea every time so it's speaking clear and loud, and you're not listening to it. So after 11 years, I decided to stop. It took a long time, but I stopped. I'm like, wow, the body is very intelligent. So when I drank the urine, I didn't have this repulsive, it just went in. I'm like, okay, my body knows it's good. And then day after day, I would skip on and off because I wasn't really into it. It took maybe a week when I really decided, okay, let's do it every day. And then I did it. I started the 17th of July every day from now on. And I tried to stop.
I said,
okay, let's put the discipline away and see how my body it's like, but you have to drink your first urine. Come on, at least your first urine. So I could never skip a day. Never. Once, because I was having this very bad diet. Well, it's not bad. Like I would tell you and you would say,
pretty good. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. You're very strict with your diet, probably. Yeah.
But it's not good for me. But for a normal American diet, it's super healthy.
Yeah.
So I was just eating cooked foods, a lot of cooked food, a lot of oat, um, like bread and cakes. I bake a lot of cakes these days. And pasta, you know. So all day I would eat a lot of it's oat, right? Blé. Blé. Yeah. So yeah, that my body didn't like, and the next day my urine was horrible.
Can imagine. Yeah, I've been there. I've been there many times. Many.
Yeah. And then I had also, so yeah, so with the urine therapy, what I noticed is that my body is telling me to eat even better. And that is a big struggle for my mind, very big struggle. So I'm in this position right now where I want to keep my same diet, but my body is reacting. So I think it's the urine therapy that's making my body change and react differently to the foods. Like maybe 3 weeks or 1 month ago, I ate gluten. Like I eat gluten. I don't. But there's this how do you say farine?
Fat?
Flour.
Wow. Okay.
Gluten flour. Like I have gluten flour where I cook some fake chicken, and I had this fake chicken sandwich.
Nice.
And yeah, very nice, very good. And I ate this for the last 2 years once in a while, and I had this last month, and I had cake and I had a lot of oat also during the day. So there was a lot of gluten in me, a lot of wheat, and I stopped. Like my last meal was at 3 o'clock because I just couldn't anymore. I had eaten so much, so it was very early in the day. And at 11, no, at midnight, I woke up in the middle of the night. So it was midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I had this very big nausea. I'm like, whoa, what's happening? And then I rushed to the washroom and I vomit and I have diarrhea. And it's disgusting, sorry.
You're going to put X-rated. No children allowed to watch.
Everything is coming out. I'm like, why? And it was my sandwich, my fake chicken sandwich was coming out. Oh my God, it was horrible. But how I reacted to this, I was happy.
Okay, cool. Okay, why were you happy about that?
Because I was like, wow, my body really knows what's good for him.
Okay.
So now it's telling me, never eat this ever again.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Anyways, so I had this horrible 1 hour of emptying my whole self out in the washroom. And I went to bed and I was all good. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I'm not sick. It's not poisoning. My boyfriend had the same meal. It's like, wow, that was intense. So I'm like, okay, so I have to listen even more to my body. So now I'm like, okay, I would love to be fruitarian, but I can't. My mind is like, no, you love foods. So I'm in this struggle right now. Yeah. I'm really having this struggle, and I'm the cook home, so I cook a lot for my boyfriend and myself. So we eat healthy, and we buy recipe books, and we're having a lot of fun in the kitchen. So it's very strong.
Yeah, it's more than just food. It's social. It's your family and all this kind of stuff tied to it. Yeah.
So that's what urine therapy did to me. I think that's the only thing, but it probably will do even much more. Just before I started, no, I had started urine therapy. I went to the city this summer again, and I had started urine therapy, but maybe not enough to have beneficial effects, but maybe it did. Anyways, I went and I had 0 symptoms in the city. And I'm seeing there's a pattern, because last year in August I had no symptom, but during the winter it all came back, but not as strong as before. And then
Quickly, could it have been less sun in the wintertime? Less sun.
That's exactly what I think.
Okay, sorry, I spoiled your moment there.
But no, it's okay, because you're the one who taught me about sun gazing, and I'm like, yeah, I started sunbathing last year intuitively.
Sweet.
Because yeah, my intuition is
it's on point. It's on point. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
Last year I started doing sunbathing, and that would be the last thing I would ever do, because I have very light skin, and I spend 5-10 minutes in the sun and I would burn, like literally burn. So it was impossible for me not to wear any sunscreen. And after my biology degree, I knew that everything you put in your skin goes in your bloodstream, and seriously, I would never put anything on my skin anymore. So sunscreen was something I would avoid, so I would avoid sun or cover up my. And last year I was like, I'm sure it's good. I'm pretty sure it's good, but maybe not at noon.
Yeah.
At midday. That would probably be too intense, but the morning sun and the evening sun, like the late afternoon sun. So I
Did you wake up what time? Sunrise, or just any time near the morning, as long as it wasn't the midday? Because was it just?
I would do it before 10 in the morning and after 2 in the afternoon.
Okay, cool.
And that's when I saw someone else. Like I've caught on some people in my life that really helped me. And there's this lady that she cured her cancer, and that was one of her process in healing. And she put a very long list of how she did to heal herself, and they're like more than 75% of what she did was what I was doing. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And the sun was exactly what I was doing. I'm like, okay, you're confirming that it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I pushed it even more. So this year I pushed it even further. I was staying any time of the day outside.
Cool.
5 hours, 6 hours, no sunscreen, no sunglasses. And I was like, that's crazy, because 10-15 minutes and I would burn, and now I would 6 hours midday.
Yeah, your skin was building up tolerance. You're building up tolerance to that.
Yeah. I would have no sunburn, and I wouldn't be like super tan. I'm still very fair skin, but I wouldn't burn. I was like, that's amazing. That's like magic. And I think that is really, really helping with my symptoms. So the sun, the fasting, my diet, which is really horrible right now. I have
your version of horrible, people at home, your version of horrible, which is not that bad.
And then sun gazing that I started. So now at 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
10 seconds. What times roughly is that? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 2 minutes 10. You're so precise. You took a timer. It's like, okay, I'm gonna time.
Yeah, I have a timer.
Cool.
I literally have a timer, and when it beeps 1 minute, I know that because my timer rings after 1 minute, so I know that a minute has gone. So yeah, I have a timer to do my sun gazing, and I do it in the morning. But there's not a lot of sun here lately. There's a lot of clouds in the morning. So I did it once in the afternoon. There was some clouds, and I felt that I could do it at 3:30 in the afternoon. So instead of doing 2 minutes, or I think I was at 1 minute 40 seconds, I did only 1 minute in the afternoon. I have very clear blue eyes. I don't want to damage them.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so the sun, fasting, the diet, and the urine therapy.
And grounding as well. You hinted
Oh
at
yeah, and the grounding,
grounding.
totally. Yeah, I forgot that.
That's
But I
huge.
do
Wow.
it, yes, a lot of grounding and even more this year. So everything that I've did like from the beginning, I'm doing it even more and more intense this year. So my symptoms are going away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and for my, oh yeah, I didn't talk about my autoimmune diseases.
Go on. Yeah, carry on. Carry on. I love it.
So yeah, I had this pemphigoid of the membrane, mucous membrane, anyways, that were attacking my gums. And I had the other autoimmune diseases that appeared a couple months after my health was going down, and I thought I was dying around that. Let's say I thought I was going to die in June, and in July, August, they found out that my thyroid gland was being attacked by my antibodies.
What gland? Sorry.
Thyroid?
Oh, the
Thyroid. Yeah.
Wow.
The thyroid gland was being attacked by my antibodies, so they prescribed me this beautiful pills, which are hormones, which I had to take every morning for the rest of my life.
Wow.
That's life. You get sick, you're sick for life.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, that's insane. I have this weird symptoms, which I didn't know, which were EMF symptoms coming. And then I have these gums. So I have one autoimmune. Then a couple months later, I have thyroid disease, which is Hashimoto. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm getting sick and I'm getting every disease like all in the same time. So it's all related. It must be related. So when I knew that I was electrosensitive, in March 2017, when I went to live at my parents' in the country, I decided right away, intuition, stop the medication. You are not sick. So I stopped the thyroid hormones, and I'm like, why would I take that? I know I'm not attacking my thyroid for nothing. My body is reacting to something, and it's not because it has to. It's because of the AMFs. I'm sure it's the electromagnetic fields that are creating this disruption towards my thyroid. So I stopped the medication right away. And I can never prove that I'm healed because I never went to see a doctor again. But I'm not taking any medication since March 2017. So
what you got there is anecdotal medicine. Don't listen to anecdotal medicine. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
So I have no symptoms because the symptoms of this is weight gain.
Weight gain.
Yeah. I would be fat, and I would sleep all the time, and I would have very low energy, and all the symptoms that I really don't have. So that's how I know I'm cured. Well, I never had these symptoms anyways. I was really weak and tired, but I knew it wasn't my thyroid. I knew it was the EMFs. Yeah. And for the gums, this was a very hard one to heal, because the antibody was continuing to attack my gums even after I was out of the EMF area. So that wasn't helping. It diminished, like maybe 85% was gone. So I'm like, okay, that was a big part, but it's not completely healed. So it took maybe a whole year. So there was the fasting and the diet and the meditation and the grounding and the sun and everything. So now I can say that it's been about 8 months to a year that I have no symptoms at all. Like everything is gone. So I have no proof
Mm.
again that it's gone,
Yeah.
but I have no symptoms. So
Huh.
I know I won't be blind.
Yeah. It's celebration time, no doubt, when you knew, confirmed there was nothing going on there. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know I can heal myself. I know I have that power. So I'm not worried anymore that I will get blind, which,
Isn't that huge? All the things you've been doing, which all work, but then probably the most empowering of them all, I would have thought, just thinking what from what you're saying, is the fact that you know that your body is all powerful. Surely that's the underlying message and mindset. That's to do with emotional health, isn't it? The fact that you've got no hope. You started off thinking, okay, there's no hope, nothing I can do, and then there's a mindset shift of, okay, now there is something I can do. Then you realize there's loads of things you can do. There's that shift between what is the word, optimism and pessimism. That are, that's a huge difference. That's healing in itself.
yeah, I've always been an optimist person. Always, always, always.
Mm.
So even when I was super, super sick and I thought I was going to die, I always had this optimistic version of I will find the answer soon. I will, but it was really hard. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I would be like, oh, maybe I'll never find out. Maybe I will stay like this all my life. But no, no, no. You
Mm.
will find out one day.
You'll find out because your intuition would have guided you. And you, like you said, you've got a very strong. I think we all do as we get healthier. Although some of us have almost special gifts, and I think maybe that one of yours could well be your intuition is a special gift that you've been given to guide you towards where you're in now.
Yeah,
Divine planning, as it were, you said about everything happens for a reason. Perhaps that's divine planning, and you were meant to meet the people that got you into urine therapy, grounding, all these experiences, and even just have that disease and that autoimmune disease is all could have been meant to have been for you, to be where you are now.
yeah,
So we can talk to each other, and you can spread the knowledge and do all the good work that you're doing. So
yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm really happy I had the disease because I would have never went through this process ever. I
yeah,
would have been in my master's degree. I would have been in my work in the lab and
yeah,
in Montreal and racing and doing all my stuff and never ever really doing spiritual work. I would have
mm,
never done spiritual work ever. I don't think so anyways. So yeah,
mm.
bringing me out of the comfort zone and out of all my, well, I had to leave my old life behind completely.
Yeah,
Like,
like a snake and it's shedding its skin. You've had to become a new
yeah,
person. So
yeah, totally.
yeah,
But now
that's
I'm
incredible.
stuck.
I didn't know your story obviously until we just spoken now. So I'm learning just as well as everyone watching. So it's really
Yeah,
powerful actually what you've been through and your slow transition, but necessarily slow because I found if you go too fast, if you learn everything all in once, you don't learn the what works. So you have to go through a process of learning slowly. Okay, grounding. Okay, I'm in this position. Oh, it's not working. Need to step it up, getting a little bit better. So you have to learn these things. I'll add sun gazing a year later. That's exactly how I've gone through the past 3 years. I rushed it. Well, I started with urine therapy. Obviously, that woke me up because it was such a difference. And then from that, I started adding on slowly. What was it? Grounding and urine therapy first, then fasting, and then dry fasting a couple of months
okay.
after that. That's no food, no water fasting. That's
Yeah,
it. And then
I don't
yoga and even still learning now. I need to start a transcendental meditation, which is another game changer. So I'm 3 years in. I'm still just coming up really slowly with new things and getting them into habits. So it does take time. Mm.
Yeah, I'm watching the videos of what's her name again? Uh, Elizabeth Fletcher.
Oh, Emily Fletcher, you're watching her videos?
Oh,
Yeah.
Emily Fletcher.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool. You're watching
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Because you were talking about that, and I'm
Mm.
like, okay, maybe that's a new thing.
Mm. Yeah.
So I've been watching her videos, but obviously she's not going to tell you her technique and her mantra.
Mm.
So you
No,
have to
she
buy
doesn't
the
tell you.
book.
Although in the book she does. In the book she gives you one that's general. But yeah, I'm glad you're into that stuff. That's very
Yeah,
powerful.
I really like that, and I think that maybe I won't really go into her classes or buy her book, but what she's saying,
Mm.
I really, really, it really speaks to me, and
Mm.
I think that what I'm what I'm doing when I'm meditating, because I
Mm.
never took any classes, so I don't really know how to meditate. I've seen a little techniques and books here and there, but not a lot. And I like to follow my intuition.
Sure. Mhm.
And what she's talking about when she's doing her technique, it's like, oh, that's what I feel. So maybe I'm doing it right.
All
So
right.
maybe I'm
Oh, I
doing
see. The results that she
maybe
gets from it is the same as your results. You're the same. Yeah.
well, yeah, I feel like I'm really going in deep sleep. And
Cool. Yeah, maybe you are then.
so
You are.
maybe I'm doing transcendental
You must be.
meditation.
Yeah. I think anything that puts you into deep sleep would be some kind of transcendent state. So yeah, you're definitely doing something that's similar to it, if not the same as which is
Yeah,
interesting.
it must be something similar. So I like to follow my intuition and just let myself guide.
Mm,
And yeah, when I started meditation, I didn't know how to do it.
mm,
I'm like, okay, let's just meditate and just do it.
mm,
So I went through a lot of, uh, it was a really slow process, but a fun process because I wasn't putting any rules. You know, when I learned further on that there's this mindful meditation where you have to stop thinking and
mm.
let the thoughts go away. And like when I started that, I was like, well, that's hard.
Yeah, it is. Yes. Yeah.
I like the intuition one where I would
Yeah.
just let myself relax and
Mm,
just be aware of myself. Okay, but
mm,
I would see colors and sometimes I would see shapes and forms, and you know that was fun. And
mm,
so I put the two. I like the mindfulness. I put that in my life maybe a year ago, and
mm,
that helped me a lot. Also, that was really, really, you know, just the emotional, the mental, how you interact with people,
mm,
how you react. It's like,
mm.
wow, your ego is so strong. Yeah, my ego. I met my ego
Mm.
maybe yeah, 2 years ago.
All
two
right.
years ago,
Two
I
years ago.
started
Cool.
reading on that, and it was wow, hello ego, and it's still very strong.
Wow. Mine's strong too. I very strong.
Yeah. So yeah, so just taking conscious of all of this. There's so much to explore, and
Yeah.
there's so much potential to healing and to just being a better version of yourself and being a better person. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Mm.
I can't believe people don't know this.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm writing also.
Mm-hmm. Are you
So
okay?
I've been writing for, let's say, a year, all writing just ideas and
Mm.
my personal stuff. And
On a blog?
I have,
Whereabouts? Whereabouts you writing on a Facebook, on the blogs, or both?
I'm just writing for myself.
Okay.
And maybe it will be a book,
Mm.
maybe it will be a class formation or something to guide people into.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know yet. So I'm just gathering information. So each time I go on Facebook, let's say I have a discussion with someone who has trouble and I try to help them,
Mm.
I copy paste and I put it in my notes.
Cool. Very
So
cool.
now
Mm.
I'm just collecting a lot of information from this last year of personal experience and
Yeah. You're building yourself up to help people, maybe make that
yeah,
profession of yours to go to take it to the next level, probably, right?
yeah,
That's
because
good.
I'm in this transition where I feel I really need to help people. I really, really, really need to help people because I feel that I have this power of healing. It's like, why does no one know about it? So I need to
Definitely, that's the that I
share it.
think that's what motivates all of us in the community. You'll find we've all got stories like this, and we all have we just get upset at first. We can't handle that other people don't understand what we know. That the whole world outside of us, when you walk the streets, is just not understanding that actually our truths of like the body heals itself, and big pharmaceuticals do worse harm than good, and their all agendas are at best evil. Well, at best money voted for evil. So it is frustrating, but
Yeah,
yeah, I mean that's why we do what we do, isn't it? That's why we're here together, and today and on Facebook and building. That's why we
exactly.
roll.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's my transition right now. Just seeing if I don't know where I'm going actually. I have no clue.
Mm,
I I let my intuition and my destiny
yeah,
drive me. It
yeah.
always drives me somewhere. I always go somewhere and I'm not worried. but I know it's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. Before we leave, have you heard of aged urine? I'm sure you've heard of me post on aged urine before.
Yes.
What's your opinion
I,
on that?
I haven't tried it yet, but I have some stocked, and well, it's not super old. I just started 2 months ago, so
That's old to me. 2 months
yeah,
old.
that's old. Yeah, really?
That's old. Yeah, that's pretty old. Hmm.
Okay. Well, some people say 9 months is the best.
Yeah, they do, but do you know what? I don't like dogma either. And that's true, but then when I tell people with aged urine, 1 week old is very powerful. 1 month old is extremely powerful. 2 months old is ridiculously powerful. So yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, you just don't wait 9 months. Just start, unless you want to. I mean, like.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Feeling my intuition.
Hmm.
So you would suggest to drink it or apply it? Drink
Uh,
it.
Whichever, both work. You can try taking little zips, very small amounts, because it's going to be hard to drink a lot in one go. Try it, and maybe you'll notice a shift in your consciousness and what have you. Probably will. There's straight away something going on if you take it. And if you do it on the skin too, if you do
Okay.
it on the skin, as soon as you put it in for like 2 minutes, just rub it in the same area, you'll start noticing a shift in your consciousness that will probably shock you more than, that's my prediction, more than anything you've ever done, including what you're doing, diet, grounding, sun gazing. I think it's going to
Well,
be very powerful for you.
I've been doing aged urine on my skin because,
Okay, cool. You have.
well,
Mhm.
because I never drink all my urine in one day. I just can't. So I just
Mm.
pile it up, pile it up, pile it up. And when I have enough, well, I do some hand soaking and feet soaking.
Cool.
So it's a couple days old.
Cool,
So
cool.
it's
Yeah.
kind of aged. I don't think it's aged enough, but it's a
Mm.
couple days old.
That will give you some power. That you must notice a little shift with that. Nice benefit in smoother
Probably,
skin. Definitely.
probably.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah, you look young anyway. We're all young people here. We look younger than we actually are. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. How old are you?
I am. How old do you think I am, first of all? How old do I look? You can be honest and don't lie and don't try to
I
be
don't
nice.
know. 30, 28,
Close. 32.
32?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
If you said 35, I would have killed you. Stop the interview. Yeah. Okay, so this has actually been a blessing. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Mellisha. One thing I'd ask before you go is there anything we haven't discussed that you'd like to, that I've not asked you, or you just forgot to mention, or last message to everyone that's watching, or.
If I have a last message?
Mm.
Oh. Well, well, the last message is to have faith in your own self. Really that is what I really want to share with people, is that they need to connect with their inner self and trust their self and listen to the intelligence of the body,
Mhm.
which is amazing. The body knows what to do, the soul knows what to do.
Mm.
And, we're always trying to get answers. Oh, I have to take a class and
Mm.
he's going to tell me what to do, and I need to see the doctor. He's going to heal me. People are always reaching out for information
Mm.
when all the answers are inside of us.
Oh, I
Really.
like that. I just thought when you're saying that happiness is an inside job, that was going through my mind while you were saying that as well.
But it's true. And I have this friend of mine. She's very, very spiritual. She's been spiritual since 2010. So she was like way ahead of me. And she would tell me her spiritual process. And I would be like, wow, that's amazing. But I never
Mm.
followed her into that. But when I jumped in the spiritual world in 2017, which is really recent,
Mm.
and when she saw me, she's like, oh my God, you're taking giant leaps.
Yeah, nice.
You're catching up with me. And then we saw each other this summer, and she has this problem where she doesn't trust her body intelligence. Like, she has this struggle. She's always taking classes, always getting the information outside.
Mm.
And when we exchanged, I saw that I was experiencing everything before. Like I would change my diet, stop eating meat, and then I knew afterwards meat is not good for yourself. I'm like, oh, okay, that confirms. Um, Only the fasting I didn't know, and I went right into it. But the sun I didn't know. I knew I had to stop putting sunscreen and take some sun, but afterwards I had confirmation this is the right thing you do. It's really good for your health. After anything, there was a lot of examples, I don't remember them, which I always experienced before, and then I had the confirmation that it was excellent for my health. She's doing the opposite. She's trying to get the information. Is this good for me? Is this good for me? And she's
It's am I enough, isn't it?
bending.
Like, isn't it? Am I enough? You know, the feeling of like I'm not enough, so I need external things to fix me.
Yeah, well, she's the problem is that she's always injured. She's having these very specific and very strong body signals telling her she's doing the wrong thing, that she has to come back and listen to herself, because she's always reaching out to get info, and she's draining all her energy. So what happens is that she says, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and she has 1,000 projects, and she's all over the place, and her energy is all over the place, and then she gets sick, she gets injured, and then she can't do anything, and she has to stop working. And that's exactly what's happening again, which is not the first time. Now she's injured, she can't work, she has to stay home, and she's an artist. So when you stop, well, now she's teaching yoga and teaching dance. But when you stop teaching, it's very hard to keep your job. It's very easy to replace you. And so this is very stressful for her. So right now she's in a period where, having this meeting with me, I think she realized that she was reaching out all the time, getting info instead of being in herself and knowing what to do. Just by listening to her, she would know what to do instead of trying to, I have to go and yes it. So yeah.
What a powerful reference experience for yourself. So you've helped her, and now for yourself, you've got such a powerful reference experience of how people are doing it wrong too, to help other people. You know, because there is a lot of people like that too that are doing it, like you said, and you just explained it so perfectly. How people are like scattered energy, whereas all the energy is inside us. And like meditation will teach you that all the energy is within your. When we go into that deep sleep of meditation, you realize, oh bloody hell, I'm powerful. I'm like going to another place. And do you know what I think as well? You know that Einstein quote, you can't solve a problem at the level of consciousness that you created that problem. So when we do meditation, we do all fasting or urine therapy, we're elevating our level of consciousness so much that we get out of the problem, and don't stay stuck in it like your friend, unfortunately. It's like,
nice. Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. And that, I think that process I'm living, I've been living it for 2 years now. It's crazy. It's always changing, and there's always new stuff, and it's very exciting process. It's like I never enjoyed living as much as today.
nice. Yeah.
Crazy how how there's like people would say my life is the most depressive because I'm home alone in the woods with no one. And all my friends are in Montreal, and my family is far away. So I see no one ever. It's very rare. I had 2 or 3 person visit this year. So,
I'm the 4th person you've seen today. The 4th person.
Yes.
The 4th person this year.
So, and I've never been so happy to live this life. So it's not about isolation. Isolation has nothing to do with solitude. That's the word I was. So solitude is very different from isolation.
Agreed.
You can be in the city and be a solitude person and very depressed.
Yeah.
But no, I'm connected to the world now, and I know that with this energy that's flowing into me and this creativity that's building up, and I know I'm going to help people, whether it's going to be with Facebook, whether it's going to be in the future with a book or with a class that will be, or formation, whatever. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know that I've never been so happy and so alive today. And it's not because I'm isolated that.
Yeah, I feel what you said. That's really powerful, and I know that you're going to do well too. I can tell. You can tell with certain people that have got it. But you said guidance, intuition. You can be happy by yourself, but you're on a journey. You've learned so much. You want to give people all these things, tick the boxes of somebody that's going to, like myself, we're just going to help a lot of people. Well, whatever. It's a matter about numbers, but you're going to make a difference in people's lives. Even if it's only one person, we've done that already. But I mean, just yeah, it's going to be exciting to watch you. I'll be honest. I'm going to take great pride and pleasure in watching you develop and see what you do in the future. And who knows, we might do something together. I don't know. We're both young people, so yeah. Thank you very much, Mellisha, for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, everyone watching too. I hope you enjoyed the story of how to heal yourself, and yeah, stay tuned. Okay.